Today we're going to take a look at the very popular line of Seiko divers known as the Monsters, and just do a quick review of those. I've got 3 examples here that I've owned for quite a while, and we'll be taking a look at each of those in a bit of detail. And so first up we have the Seiko model SKX 779. This is the black dialed monster version. I've owned this watch for quite a while, probably at least 10 years. I bought an orange dialed version, the SKX 781, and then shortly thereafter the SKX 779 at least 10 years ago. I think I was one of the first guys on Time Zone to own the orange dialed one. Anyway, these were popularized as monsters mainly because of their bold looks. They have a fairly large bezel. Bracelets has nice wide links on it, and they had a very bold look back when they first came out. By today's standards, there are a lot of competitors, and I don't know if you stack this up against a lot of the current models, it might look a little weak compared to the monster designation, but still very good watch. The 779 model uses a Seiko 7S26 automatic winding movement. It's a 21 joule movement. It doesn't allow hacking or manual winding, so it's automatic only. Only takes a few swirls of the watch to get the movement started. It's a very efficient winder, which is very good. Both the black and orange dial versions are about 40 millimeters across the bezel, not including the crown. The crown adds another 2 or 3 millimeters to that. As far as thickness, they're about 12 millimeters thick. Like all of the 7S26 movement watches, the crown is down here at 4 o'clock. And the bezel, I like the bezel in these watches. It's easy to get a hold of and rotate. There are a couple of cutouts down in the case to allow you to get your fingers on the bezel easily and rotate it. So it works out very nice as a diver. And I have had this watch diving several times down in the Bahamas. Worked out quite well. These 7S26 movements aren't known for their accuracy, although some people are able to regulate them to keep very good time. Typically plus or minus 15 seconds is probably a good expectation for these watches. The watch has its original bracelet on it, and it has a folding clasp which unlocks, and then there's 2 push buttons that release the clasp itself. There's also a diver's extension on this bracelet. It's up here on the catch side. If you just flip this down and fold it out, you get maybe 1/2 inch or 3/4 of an inch of extension on the bracelet circumference. Again, I don't use diver's extensions that much, but it's a nice feature. Screw-on case back. Dial side has nice bold markers. The crystal is a domed crystal. I think you can probably see it as I hold it sideways here. It's Seiko's Hardlex treatment, which isn't quite as tough as sapphire, but it does afford quite a bit of protection for the crystal. This watch features both a day and date window at 3 o'clock. It's interesting, this particular watch has a Spanish alternate spelling for the day, and my other one, the SKX 781 orange dial, has Arabic for the alternate spelling of the days. Interesting. These watches tend to be made in either Singapore or Malaysia. I think these are both Singapore manufactured. So that's about it on the SKX 779. I'll pull up the orange dial version next and just touch quickly on a few differences with it. Okay, here's the SKX 781 orange dialed monster. Again, all of the features are the same as the black dial version. I have this on a waterborne NATO strap just for a change. NATO straps are nice for diving. If one of the spring bars would happen to break, you still have an attachment point via the other spring bar so that your watch doesn't go spiraling down into the abyss, which is always a sad sight to see. This particular watch has an Arabic alternate spelling date wheel. I think I already said that. And nice bright orange dial. The 781 and the 779 are both rated for 200 meters. They're true divers watches. And again, domed crystal. And very nice watches. Very good value. Lastly, I'll pull up the so-called land monster. This is a little bit later variation on the monster theme. A few differences with this watch. It's a little bit larger watch. It's about 42 millimeters across the bezel from edge to edge, not including the crowns. You'll notice this has two crowns, one at 2 o'clock and one at 4 o'clock. The crown at 2 o'clock is the actual winding and setting crown. Actually, it's not winding. I'll get to that in just a second. It's the setting crown. And the crown at 4 o'clock is used to rotate the compass bezel inside the watch. And I'll demonstrate that just quickly here. You basically unscrew the bezel, and then as soon as it frees up from the threads, it rotates the compass legend bezel inside the watch. And then you can lock it down if you want to. If you want to set a heading, just screw it back down and it locks it. This watch is also a little thicker. It's about 12-13 millimeters thick compared to the 779 to 781. This one doesn't have the day window, and you'll notice the location of the date is moved slightly between it's actually at 4 o'clock as opposed to 3 o'clock on the other two watches. This land monster uses a Seiko 7S35 automatic winding movement. It's a 23 joule movement. It also isn't manual winding or hacking. So again, very efficient winder. Just a few swirls of the watch back and forth starts it moving. I've had this one only for a couple of years, but I like this watch. It's a little bit larger. It's a little bit more fitting with some of the current dive watch sizes, even though it has the compass bezel, which I really probably won't use very much. I think it's just got a neat look to it. And of course the normal external bezel is certainly functional for diving purposes. So there you have it. That's my small collection of Seiko monsters. Again, very good value. If you're looking for a mechanical watch to get into diving with or snorkeling or any kind of water activity, check out the Seiko monsters. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. And I'll end the video with a few glamour shots, a few still shots of the watches. And again, thanks for watching.